Hare Krishna. Welcome to all the devotees to our Tuesday weekly session program. So in the past few months, we were discussing from Canto 3 of Srimad Bhagavatam, wherein we currently discussing the subject matter of Lord Kapila's appearance. So from the beginning, being ordered by Lord Brahma, Kardama Muni performed severe austerities to seek blessings from Lord Vishnu. So Lord Vishnu appeared and blessed him that very soon Swayambhuva Manu would come with his daughter to give her in marriage to you. As promised by the Lord, Kardama Muni got married to Swayambhuva Manu, came there with their daughter. They gave their daughter in marriage to Kardama Muni with a condition that as soon as she beget children, he would go to forest, taking on renunciation. So then, as promised, in due course of time, Devahuti served her husband very nicely. When the husband was favorably inclined to bless her, she requested him to fulfill the condition that he made to beget children in her. So, in order to please his wife, he created aerial mansion. They went on a trip for 100 years. Then eventually, understanding that she would like to have many children, Kardama Muni expanded himself into 9 forms, impregnated her 9 times. As a result of that, she begot 9 daughters. Then, as promised, when Kardama Muni was prepared to go to forest, taking on to renounced order, then Devahuti expressed her concern that, so now as promised you are leaving, there is no fault in you, and even your daughters after marriage they will live, then I will be left alone. I have used your association all these days for the purpose of sense gratification only, but I have not used the good fortune of your association to get fearlessness. Kindly do this one favor of awarding me fearlessness in the form of a son. Then Kardama remembered that the Lord Vishnu previously promised that Kardama would beget 9 daughters through Devahuti, and also the Lord himself will appear in her womb. So remembering that, Kardama Muni instructed Devahuti to perform severe austerities along with devotional service unto Lord Vishnu. As a result of that, eventually the Supreme Lord entered into her womb. The entire universe expressed joy, experienced joy, and Devatas expressed their joy by playing the drums, singing, dancing, showering flowers, etc., etc., etc. Then Lord Brahma from Satyaloka arrived there to the ashram of Kardama Muni, to the Bindu Sarovar, along with his wonderful sons such as Narada Muni, the 4 Kumaras, and other sons such as Atri, Angira, Pulasya, Pulaha, Kratu, etc., etc. He came there. He glorified the wonderful service that Kardama and Devahuti had performed unto Lord Brahma, unto Supreme Lord, that Lord Brahma instructed him to get married and beget children. But he begot such a wonderful children that the Supreme Lord himself became his son. Lord Brahma was happy more than what he could be happy. So he congratulated Kardama and Devahuti, and he also assured Devahuti that very soon, through your son, the knot of doubt, that knot of material sense gratification that is there in the heart. So basically says that avidya samshaya grantim, the knot of ignorance and also the knot of false knowledge will be taken away, and you will attain fearlessness. So that assurance was given to Devahuti, and at the same time Lord Brahma indicated that the Supreme Lord is appearing as your son in order to preach Sankhya Yoga and devotional Bhakti Yoga all over the universe, following which people can be delivered from this material existence. So they offered glories to the Supreme Lord. Then Lord Brahma, along with his 5 sons, Narada Muni and 4 Kumaras, went back to Satyaloka. As indicated by Lord Brahma, Kardama Muni offered his 9 daughters in marriage to the 9 sons of Brahma, the 9 Prajapatis, such as Angira, Pulaha, Prutu, etc. We have seen in the previous class that Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulasya, Pulaha, Kratu, and Bhrugu, Vasishta, and then Atharva. These were the 9 sons who got married to the 9 daughters of Devahuti, and they stayed in the house of Kardama for a few days. Then with the permission of Kardama and Devahuti, these 9 sages are the 9 sons of Lord Brahma, along with their wives, went back to their respective ashramas. Pratishtam Nadim Apanna Swam Swam Ashrama Mandalam. They have gone to their own respective ashramas. So this is where we have stopped, and today we'll continue the remaining portion of this chapter. So this is one of the interesting chapter. So what we are going to study today in relation to Kardama Muni, and same thing we also see in relation to Devahuti in 33rd chapter, the last chapter of this third canto. So both the parents of Lord Kapila attaining perfection by following the instructions of Lord Kapila. So let us go ahead. Text number 26 of chapter 24 of canto 3. Sa Chavatirnam Triyugam Ajnaya Vibudarshaba Vivikta Upasangamya Pranamya Samabhashata. So here it says that Sa Cha Avatirnam Triyugam Ajanaya Vibudarshaba. So Vibudarshaba means Vibuddha refers to all the great personalities of this universe, all the devatas and the great sages. Rishabha means the best among them, like the bull among all the animals, something like that. So the Lord of all the devatas and the great sages, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, had appeared. Eventually, after the daughter's marriage was completed, after the son-in-laws along with their wives, they left home. In due course of time, very soon in near future, Lord Kapila appeared on one day. And as devatas would do, as soon as they appear, they become youth. In the same, of course, within a muhurta time, they grow to youth. They don't have to go through baby care day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. It does not happen in the case of devatas and such kind of great people. So as soon as the child was born, the child became youthful. So understanding that, as predicted by Lord Brahma, as foretold by Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead had appeared in his home and also grown up to youth. Ajanaya, though he is unborn, but still he appeared in my home. Vivikta Upasangamya Pranamya Samabhashta. One day, in seclusion, Kardama Muni met his son, who is none other than Supreme Personality of Godhead, and offered him full Dandavat obeisances. Pranamya Samavashata, complete obeisances. And then he began to speak to Lord Kapila, the Supreme Lord, who appeared now as his own son. So the entire chapter is all about what Kardama Muni is going to talk to Lord Kapila and what Kapila replied in response to Kardama Muni, and what did Kardama Muni do, and how did he attain perfection or went back home back to Godhead. This is the entire chapter. So here one interesting thing is that Avatirnam Triyugam. Generally the Lord appears in each and every yuga, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali. But in the previous 3 yugas, when the Lord appears, everyone knows that he is the Lord. But in Kali Yuga, even though Lord appears, no one knows that he is the Lord. I appear generally in Channa Avatara in Kali Yuga. He appears secretly, like in the disguise of a devotee or something like that. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, though when he was there, except very few confidential devotees know about his true identity. Otherwise, rest all the devotees would consider him as a great acharya or great powerful personality. So only few people would understand that he is the Supreme Lord. That's why he is called Channa Avatara. That's why he is called Triyugi. He generally appears in 3 yugas. So that is one understanding. Aho papacchamananam nirayesvair amangalair kalena bhuyasanunam prasidanti hadevata. So here in this verse he is telling that Kalena Bhuyasa Nunam Prasidantiha Devata. In generally, whenever people with an intention to get the fulfillment of their desires, if they take shelter of various devatas and execute so many rituals, the devatas will fulfill the desires of the conditioned souls who are going through suffering in this material world only after a long time. Kalena Bhuyasa. So after a long time, after repeated execution of various rituals only, Devatas will bestow upon them blessings. Aho papacha mananam niraye swair amangalai. Amangalai. In the inauspicious condition, out of their sinful activities, the living entities who are going through reactions, troublesome material reactions, and in order to get rid of those reactions, in order to get happiness in this material world, when people take on to the shelter of devatas and perform so many rituals again and again, only after a long time the devatas bestow upon them. So it is not happens quickly. So in Bhagavad Gita, we hear but Lord Krishna says that the people in this material world take the shelter of devatas so that they would get the fulfillment of their desires very quickly. So that is also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Of course, it is true. So according to Lord Krishna, the devatas respond quickly. According to Kardama, the devatas respond after a long time. The reason is that from the point of view of infinite time, the response of devatas is quickly. But from the point of view of human beings, the devatas respond after a long time. After repeated worship for many years, the devatas respond. Because that many years is also a long time. So from that point of view, Kardama Muni is telling, from the point of view of humans, it is long time. So in that way. Bahujanma vipakvena samyak yoga samadhina drashtum yatante yataya shunyagareshu yatpadam. So it says that drashtum yatante yataya. Yataya refers to yati. Yati means sannyasi. Sannyasi means those who are practicing jnana yoga and ashtanga yoga. Those renounced order people who are dedicated to practice ashtanga yoga or jnana yoga, bahujanma vipakvena, after continued practice of many lifetimes, when they come to samyak yoga samadhina, when they come to samadhi platform, eventually by the hard labor which they endeavor for many lifetimes, eventually when they come to samadhi platform, drashtum yatante, they get to see after a lot of endeavor, yatante, after a lot of endeavor, what? Shunyagareshu yatpadam, they will be able to see the Brahman. They will be able to see the Brahman effulgence only after hard labor, after many lifetimes. So it says that even those who take shelter of devatas, they get the fulfillment of their desires after repeated worship. And even those who are desiring to get moksha, having performed jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga for many lifetimes, they get to experience Brahmananda. They get to see Brahman only after many lifetimes. But in contrary to the Devata worshippers and the Jnanis and Yogis, what happened to me? That Kardama Muni says in the next verse. Sayeva Bhagavan Adhya Helanam na Ganayana Griheshu Jatagramyanam Yaswanam Paksha Poshana. But the Supreme Lord has a partial inclination towards his own devotees, partiality towards his own devotees. Swanam Paksha Poshana. The Supreme Lord has favorable inclination towards his own devotees. Saeva Bhagavan Adya Helanam na Ganayana. That supreme personality of Godhead whom I have neglected for so many years. In spite of that, Griheshu Jato Gramyanam. He appeared in the family of a materialistic householder. Though I have neglected the worship of that Supreme Lord, who is the Lord of Devatas, who is the Lord of Brahman, but thus who is the source of Brahman, that Supreme Lord, though I have neglected, had appeared today in the house of a materially attached householder. Because he has that special nature of Swanam Paksha Poshana. He is favorably inclined to his devotees. He has favoritism towards his devotees. Though I am not a devotee, though I am not serving the Lord, I have not given great regard to the Supreme Lord. Helanam, na Ganaya, I have not considered him as the most important person in my life. And Helanam, I have neglected him. But still, the Lord, out of his causeless mercy, made his appearance in my family. So this is how Kardama Muni, out of great humility, is treating himself as the very, very, very low person in comparison to the Devata worshippers and the Jnanis and Yogis. Though the Devata worshippers and the Jnanis and Yogis get the mercy of Devatas or Brahman after long endeavor, after many lifetimes, but I, a pseudo devotee who had neglected the Lord, who had not considered the Lord as the most important or the object of worship, but still he made his appearance in my family, where I am a Griheshu Gramyanam, a materialistic householder. So like that, Kardama Muni is expressing his humility. Next he says that Sviyam Vakyam Vritam Kartum Avatirnosi me Grihe Chikirshur Bhagavan Jnanam Bhaktanam Manavardhana. There are three reasons for Lord's appearance according to Kardama Muni. The first reason is Sviyam Vakyam Vritam Kartum Avatirnosi me Grihe. Oh, my dear Lord, you appeared in my home. For the first reason is Sviyam Vakyam Vritam Kartum. In order to make your own word true. Previously, when you appeared to me after the performance of severe austerities for 10,000 years, you are told that you would appear in my family in your partial manifestation. So in order to make those words true, now, though I am not qualified, but you made your appearance in my home. Fine, one. Second one is Chikirshur Bhagavan Jnanam. In order to propagate that knowledge following which one can obtain Bhagavan, one can obtain the knowledge of Bhagavan, one can obtain path back home back to Godhead. Chikirshur Bhagavan Jnanam. In order to propagate the path back home back to Godhead, Bhakti Yoga and Sankhya Yoga. Bhaktana Manavardhana, and in order to increase the glories of your devotees. Starting with myself and my wife Devoti and Kardama, because of your appearance in our family, our glories are ever told in the future. That Lord Kapila, who is the son of Devoti and Kardama, something like that. And those devotees who follow the teachings of yours, they say that these people followed the teachings of Lord Kapila, they went back to Godhead. So like that, all those devotees who are in connection to you directly or indirectly through your teachings, their glories are ever sung. So Bhaktana Manavardhana, in order to increase the fame of your devotees, in order to preach the path back home back to Godhead, Bhakti Yoga and Sankhya Yoga, in order to make your words true, that you will appear in my family, you have made your appearance in my house. So according to Kardama Muni, these were the three reasons of Lord Kapila's appearance. Then he further says, Tani eva te virupani रूपाणि भगवंस्तव यानि यानि च रोचन्ते स्वजनानाम् arupina. So my dear Lord, though you are arupina, though you do not possess any material form, but still you appear again and again, whatever forms the devotees desire to see, whatever forms the devotees want to serve you, you make your appearance in all those variety of forms in order to reciprocate with the love and devotion of your wonderful devotees. Tani evate abhirupani, rupani bhagavamstava. You appear in many different variety of forms as per the desire of your devotees. Yani yanita rochante. So as per the desire of your devotees, in order to give them pleasure. Rochante means in order to give them pleasure. In order to accept their service, in order to facilitate their service, you make your appearance in various forms. So this is your greatness. You not only increase the fame of the devotees, you appear to increase the pleasure of your devotees. Because your devotees desire to serve you in various ways, you make your appearance again and again. Swajananam, for whom you appear? Swajananam, for you, for the sake of the happiness of your own people, your own devotees, surrendered devotees. So this is the fourth reason why Lord appears in this material world. From Suribhistattva Bubhushayadha Sada Pivada Pada Pitam Aishwarya Vairagya Yeshova Bodha Virya Shriya Purtamaham Prapadhe. And Kardamuni is indicating that though you have appeared in my family as a person, but you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, possessor of all the six opulences. What are the six opulences? Aishwarya, Vairagya, Yashasa, Avabodha, Virya, Shriya. How much? Purtam. Completely. My dear Lord, you possess all the six opulences completely. In Padma Purana, there is a verse talking about all the six opulences. Aishwaryasya samagrasya Viryasya yashasho shriya. Aishwaryasya samagrasya Viryasya yashasho shriya. Jnana vairagyayuschaiva sannam bhaga itingana. The personality who is known as Bhagavan possesses all these six opulences incompletely. Aishwaryasya samagrasya. Samagra means incompletely, in full. And here Purtam also in full. My dear Lord, you possess all these opulences in full, in whichever avatara you make, you appear. Therefore, I offer my respects to you. Aham prapadde. So it is like that. Kardama Muni actually indicating who can be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because you possess all these six opulences in full, all the great personalities of this world, whether it is the great devatas or the great sages or the human beings, they take shelter of your lotus feet. Because of possessing all these opulences in full, you are known as Bhagavan, and your lotus feet are worthy of taking shelter. Tvam Suribhis Tattva Bhubhuta Tattva Bhubhusta Yada Sada Abhivada Arhana Padapitam. Padapitam means your lotus feet. Sada, always. Abhivada, offered respects. Arhana, worshipped. By whom? Suribhis, all the great personalities of this world. Who are called Suris? Those who recognize the position of the Bhagavan and take shelter of the Bhagavan are called as Suri or Shauri. All the devotees are generally called as Suris or Shauris because they have understood who the Bhagavan is and they have taken shelter of Bhagavan. They are called as Suribhis or Shauri. The great sages, the devatas, and the human beings who take shelter of your lotus feet, they are all called as Surabhi. For what purpose they have taken shelter of your lotus feet? Tattva Bubustayadya. With the desire to understand the transcendental nature of your personality. Because the knowledge about this material world can be learnt or can be gained by reading Shastra. But the transcendental nature of the Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela of the Supreme Personality of Godhead can only be given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is revealed only when the Lord becomes favorably inclined to the devotees. In order to understand and realize the true nature of the Supreme Personality of God in relation to his Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, his Aishwarya, etc., the devotees take shelter of your lotus feet. Lord's lotus feet can be indicative of two things. One is it is indicative of Lord's deity form, where the devotees continue to serve in various ways the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, and Lord's lotus feet also indicates taking shelter of the spiritual masters, all the bona fide acharyas who have taken shelter at the lotus feet of Supreme Lord, and taking their shelter is as good as taking the shelter of Lord's lotus feet. So, in that way, Tattva, Bubhuta, Bubusta, Yadda, in order to understand the knowledge about the Supreme Personality of Godhead's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, and Tattvadha, these Surabhis take shelter of your lotus feet because they have understood that you are the Bhagavan, possessor of 6 opulences in completeness. So it is like that. So this is the reason all the devotees take shelter of your lotus feet and they worship your lotus feet as well as your lotus feet in the form of deity as well as your wonderful bona fide representatives. So it is like that for only purpose of understanding about you more and more. Param pradhanam purusham mahantam kalam kavim trivrutam lokapalam Atmanubhutyanu Gata Prapancham Swachanda Shaktim Kapilam Prapadhye. So, the previous verse talks about the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord, which cannot be understood by our own endeavor. So, in order to understand Lord's transcendental nature, the devotees take shelter of Lord's lotus feet. And what are the other features of Supreme Lord that can be understood by reading Shastra, by taking shelter of Guru, by studying under Guru, are indicated in this verse. So, Swachanda Shaktim Kapilam Prapadde. I take shelter of Lord Kapila's lotus feet, who also have another forms in this material world. What are the all different forms in this material world? Many other people take shelter of those forms, thinking that they are equal to the Supreme Lord. But they are all Lord's external manifestation. They are not Lord's true manifestations. They are all Lord's external manifestation. What are they? Param Pradhanam. The Lord appears in this world as Pradhana or Prakriti. This is another form of the Supreme Lord. Lord also appears in the form of Purusha, that is Jiva. Lord makes his appearance in the form of all various jivas in this material world. He expands as jivas in this material world. He also expands as Prakriti in this material world. Mahantam, he also expands in terms of Mahatattva. And Kalam, time. Kavim, Kavim refers to, it is called the activator of all the activities of the living entities. Sutra Tattva. There is something called Sutra Tattva. In our terms, we can say that the Lord expands as Prana, the Prana Vayu, with which all of us are sustaining ourselves and performing various activities. That is also called as Kavim in Sanskrit. Trivrutam. Trivrutam means the threefold Ahankara. Sattva-guni ahankara, Rajoguni ahankara, Tamoguni ahankara, from which all the other things like mind, intelligence, senses, Pancha Mahabhutas, Panchendriya, Pancha Tanmatras appear, etc. And the Lokapalam, all the devatas who are looking after the maintenance of the entire universe, the devatas of various directions, etc., etc. And then Atma Anubhutyanugata Prapancham. So it says that Prapancham, the entire material universes manifested from your external energies. So Atma Anubhutya Anugata Prapancham. So Anugata refers to the entire material world that has been created for the happiness of your various amshas, various living entities. So the Supreme Lord, you yourself appear in this material, in the form of this material world, in order to facilitate the enjoyment of the living entities who are, in one sense, Anugata, your followers only, or your manifestations. So in that way. And finally, Swachanda Shaktim, you possess many independent energies. Swachanda Shaktim. All these Shaktis are not dependent. They are all independent energies. They simply wait for your order. As soon as you give order, they are ready to execute various activities according to your will. You possess many Swachanda Shaktis. So all these are in a way manifestations of yours, and many people of this world treat them one with you. They see you through these manifestations. So the previous verse talks about Lord's transcendental form, and this verse talks about Lord's material forms. The Supreme Lord himself appears in this material world in these various forms, such as Prakriti, the Jivas, and Mahatattva, Kala, Prana, Ahankara, the Devatas, and the material world, which is a place for the enjoyment of the living entities, and many energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since you possess all these things, that makes you a great personality of this world, and I take shelter of your lotus feet. So Kardamuni knows about the Lord, both in this material world, in the spiritual world. So in that way, he is indicating whatever you know about the Supreme Lord. Further, he says that Asmabhiprucchedya patim prajanam Tvayavatirnarna utapta kama Parivrajat padavim mastitoham Cherishet tvam rudi yunjan vishoka. So he says that asma abhipruche adya patim prajanam. So, O Lord of all the living entities, praja means all the living entities, patim, the Lord, Master, the maintainer of all the living entities. You are the maintainer of all the living entities, you are also the maintainer of myself. Adya, today, asma abhipruche, I would like to ask you something at this, right now, today itself. What is that? Tvayavatirnarna utatta kama parivrajat padavim astitoham. So it is that Tvaya avatirna runa utapta kama. By your appearance, all my runa, all my debts to my forefathers are completed. And all my desires are also fulfilled. Because as a person being born in this material world, I have runas to all the different people. One of those runas to our forefathers. So by begetting a son, father fulfills the runa to the forefathers. That is done. As well as by begetting so many children, that 9 daughters and yourself, I fulfilled the instructions of Lord Brahma. My father told me to get married and beget children. I have done that also. So whatever this is, and also I would like to have darshan of your good self. That also I fulfilled. So everything, all my desires in my life completed. I fulfilled all runas. All obligations are completed. Now everything is done as per my duties are concerned. Now, Utapta Kama, I have one more desire. Till now, all my desires are fulfilled, but one desire is still left. What is that? Parivrajat Padavim Astitoham. I would like to take the post of Parivrajaka, wandering mendicant. This desire is still there in my heart. I would like to accept the renounced order and continue to travel from forest to forest, forest to forest. Parivrajat padavim astitoham cherishe tvam hrudayunjan vishoka. Why is that? I have contemplated from the very beginning that I would like to travel from forest to forest, taking on to meditation, wherein I can continue to meditate upon your lotus feet without being deviated here and there, wherein I can perform Ekanta Bhakti. There will be no other deviations in my life. I continuously focused on your lotus feet. Then Lord Kapila might say, so what is the need for you to go to the forest? I myself appeared in your home. You, by staying here, you can continue to think of me. Then Kardama said that, my dear Lord, as you have originally promised that you would appear in my home, you fulfill that condition. I'm very happy. But at the same time, you have also told me that you should wander from forest to forest, thinking of me in the core of your heart and distributing compassion to all the living entities. Daya Sarvabhuteshu. It was told in the previous chapter, chapter 21, when Lord Vishnu appeared to Kardama. Lord specifically told that after marrying, after begetting children, 9 daughters from your wife, you should take on to renounced order and you should travel from forest to forest, distributing fearlessness to all the living entities and constantly meditating upon me. So since Lord Vishnu told that time, thinking that Kardamuni also put that condition while the marriage proposal was there, he told that after begetting children, I would like to go to forest, taking an announced order. From the external point of view, it appears to be his desire, but for him, it was the order of the Supreme Lord. How can he neglect the order of the Supreme Lord? So then now he's telling to the Lord that, how can I neglect your order? It was your order. Then Lord Kapila might say that, so it was my order, fine, but at the same time, I myself appeared in your home. Why don't you stay home and continue to serve me and do the same thing, staying here only? What is the problem? You can think of me by taking care of me in the family. Then Kardama explained the original reason is that, so my dear Lord, throughout my life, I was considering myself as a servant of your lotus feet and treating you as my master, as my Lord, worthy of worship. And since now you have appeared as my son, I have to treat you as my son in Vasalya Rasa. Till now I was worshipping you in Dasya Rasa. If I stay any more time in my home, I will have conflict of treating you. I will always have a fight that should I serve you as Dasya Bhakta or should I take care of you as a Vasalya Bhakta? There will be a great conflict in my heart. I will not be able to perform my devotional service properly. Since you have given me the instruction that I should serve you by meditating upon your lotus feet constantly in my heart and distributing your lotus to each and everyone, as a Dasya Bhakta, as a surrendered soul, I have made up my mind to serve you in that way. I cannot change my mood from Dasya Bhav to Vasalya Bhav. If I stay home, eventually in due course of time, I will not be able to serve you in any way, neither Vasalya, neither a parent nor a devotee. It will be very difficult. A father cannot serve a son like a Dasya. At the same time, my heart will not agree to treat you as my son in Vasalya. So I will be in great trouble. So please give me permission to go, take on to renounced order and go on to forest, wherein I continue to serve you as a Dasya Bhakta. So this was the request by Kardama Muni onto Lord Kapila. So indicates that the Dasya Bhaktas are eager to serve the Lord in Dasya Bhav only. They never want to change their mode. So that is the nature of Dasya Bhaktas. Because they were worshipping the Supreme Lord as the Lord and Master in Aishwarya. So for changing rasas would be very difficult for them. So that is the reason he is requesting the Supreme Lord, please give me permission so that I will be able to worship you, my dear Lord, with constant remembrance of your lotus feet without any interruption, traveling from one forest to other forest throughout the day. If I stay home, it will be very disturbing for me. I will be confused whether I should treat you as a master or a son. So it will be very difficult. So please give me order to leave from here. So this was the request of Kardama unto Lord Kapila. Now, starting from the next verse, Lord Kapila responds and he gives favorable instructions to Kardama Muni. Wherein he says that Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Proktam hi lokasya pramanam satya laukike atajani maya tubhyam yadavocham mrutam mune ata ajani maya tubhyam yadavocham mrutam mune. So my dear Kardama, though I am unborn, since I have mentioned to you that I will appear in your family as your son through the womb of Devahuti, so I made my appearance in your family in order to make my words true, because the people in this world consider me as pramana. So I should establish that pramana as the proper pramana or bona fide pramana. If I say something and do something else, people lose faith on my words. So in order to prove that whatever I do and whatever I say, they are in sync, I made my appearance in your home. So that is one thing. And also, Maya Proktam hi lokasya pramanam satya lokike. Whatever I speak in this world, the people accept it as the ultimate pramana in two ways. One is laukika. In the regular worldly matters, whatever I say myself or through Shastra, the people of this world consider it as ultimate pramana and follow it. So we see in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, Daivasura Sampatti Vibhaga Yoga, in which it talks about the mentality of the demoniac people and the mentality of the divine people. The divine people means those who surrender to Supreme Lord and practice bhakti, and demonic people, those are atheistic and neglect the path of devotional service, etc., etc. So at the end of this chapter, in the last two verses, Lord Krishna says that Yat Shastra Vidhi Musrujya Vartate Kamakarata Nasiddhim Avapnoti Na Sukam Na Paramgatim. Those people of this world who disregard the favorable instruction, the rules and regulations that are presented in the Vedic literature. Yes, Shastra Vidhi Musrujya. All the do's and don'ts that are present in the Vedic literature, ignoring them. Vartate Kamakarata. Perform activities as per their materialistic desires. Nasasiddhim. They do not get the expected results of their materialistic activities. Nasasiddhim means their activities do not give expected results. Nasukam. They perform various activities in order to get material happiness in this world. Because the activities are not giving expected results, then what is the point that they will get happiness? No sukam. Na paramgatim. Eventually, at the end of their life, they will not go back home back to Godhead. They will not attain the complete success of the human life. So therefore, what one should do, my dear Arjuna? Tasmat Shastra Pramanamte Karya Vyavasthito. My dear Arjuna, accept Shastra as ultimate pramana, because Shastra talks about Karya and Akarya, what is to be done, what is not to be done. Tasmat Shastra Pramanante Karya Vyavasthito. Yes, Shastra Yajnatva Shastra Vidanoktam Karma Kartum Iharasi. having understood what is there in the Shastra, following those instructions in proper order, one should perform one's karma in this material world. Karma kartum iha arhasi. Only those people who perform their activities following the instructions of the Vedic literature, they are only become qualified to go back home back to Godhead. They only become qualified to get the results of their activities, siddhim, and the happiness in this material world, sukham, and at the end of their life, they become qualified to go back home back to Godhead. So that is the importance of the rules and regulations given in Shastra. In the matter of how to live in this material world, what to do, what not to do, etc., etc., etc. That is Laukike. So in the matter of dealings in this material world, whatever details, whatever instructions given in the Vedic literature are accepted as ultimate pramana, and also Satya. In the matter of going back home back to Godhead, what to do, what not to do, those instructions are also there in the scriptures in a secret way. Following them, some people go back home back to Godhead immediately. Instructions such as Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Rajaham Tvam Sarvapapebhyo Mokshesham Masusha. So that comes under the category of Satya instruction. Satya refers to the transcendental instructions that enable one to go back home back to Godhead immediately. Laukika refers to those instructions which enable a person to live in the proper order in this material world. So in that way, Satyadharman Parityajya, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja, or Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayashati, or Yat Karoshi Yadashnashi Yajjo Shatashya Tat Yat Tapashasi Kaunteya Tat Kurushva Madarpanam. Such kind of Sadam Kirtayantu Mam Yatantasya Duravrata Navastantasa Mam Bhaktya Nityukto Upasate. Such kind of verses, they are all instructions in relation to going back home back to Godhead, which are known as Satya, in relation to going back to spiritual world. So in these two subject matters, my instructions are considered to be the ultimate pramana in this material world. So what is the point here? Why Lord is saying this? So my dear Kardama, so in the matter of Laukika, you have performed all duties required, but now you should act on the platform of Satya. In order to go back home back to Godhead, you need to follow my instruction that Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja. No problem, though I have appeared in your family as your son. No problem, you have to take care of your wife. No problem. Sarvadharman Parityajya, all the dharmas of this material world, keep them aside. Now please go on to the forest, continue to meditate upon me, and eventually go back home back to Godhead. Set an example. By following what, by doing what, one can go back home back to Godhead. So from the point of view of Laukika, you have fulfilled all the duties till now. Perfect. But now you have to set an example of Satya also. You have set an example of Laukika. Thank you very much for that. Now you set an example of Satya. Sarvadharman Pratijah. Keep all the dharmas in relation to your wife, in relation to your family, and in this world, etc. Keep them aside and take on renounced order and go to forest and set a good example of going back to Godhead. So like that, because these are all my instructions, now I am also reassuring you that by giving you permission to take on this Vanaprastha order or renounced order, go on to forest and do the needful. So like that, it is indicated. Etanme janma lokesmin mumukshunam durashayat prasankhyanaya tatvanam sammatayatma darshane. So here Lord further says that what are the other purposes with which the Supreme Lord appeared in this world. Etan me janma lokesin. My dear Kardama, kindly understand why I have appeared in this material world. Mumukshunam durashayat. In order to help those people who desire to get mumukshu, who desire to get moksha, who desire to go back home back to Godhead. Durashayat, who wanted to get rid of the demands of the subtle body. Ashaya refers to subtle body. Durashaya means it is very, very difficult to control the demands of the subtle body, the demands of the mind and material ahankara, material intelligence, contaminated consciousness. controlling the subtle body, which include the senses, mind, man, buddhi, ahankara, chetana, very difficult in their contaminated state. So, but I have appeared in this world to teach something, following which they will be able to control the demands of their subtle body. They will be able to purify their subtle body. They will be able to destroy their subtle body, and they will attain moksha. Pra Sankyayana Tatvanam. I have appeared to preach Sankhya Yoga. I have appeared to teach Bhakti Yoga. Sammata Yatma Darshane. Following which they will have Atma Darshan. They will realize who they really are, and they will go back home back to Godhead in union with the Supreme Lord. They will be united with the Supreme Lord in the spiritual world. They will be able to realize who they are. They will be able to realize who the Lord is, and they become eternal to the Supreme Lord. For this purpose, I have made my appearance in this world. For those, in order to help those people who are desiring to get moksha, I will teach them Sankhya Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, following which they will be able to control the demands of their subtle body. They will be able to destroy the subtle body, and they will realize who they really are, their Atma's true identity, and they will also realize their relationship with the Supreme Lord, and they go back home back to Godhead. This is another purpose of mine to come in this material world. Esha Atma Pato Vyakto Nashtakalena Bhuyasa Tam Pravartayitum Deham Imam Viddi Maya Brutam. Here it says that Esha Atma Pato Avyakto, that Atma Pata, that process of self-realization, that process of path back home back to Godhead, Avyakto, it has become invisible, or there is no tangible knowledge about the true nature of Atma, the true nature and the true position of Bhagavan. Nashta Kalena Bhuyasa, Nashta Kalena, which has been ignored, forgotten, or disappeared by the influence of time. So that's why Bhuyasa, in order to revive that knowledge of Atma Pata, that Pata perfection which reveals about the true nature of Atma and Bhagavan. Tam Pravartayitum Deham Imam, in order to rejuvenate that Pata perfection, Imam Deham, I have appeared in this body with the Maya Brutam. Kindly understand the purpose of my appearance. In order to revive that forgotten knowledge which has been lost by the influence of time, the Sankhya Yoga and Bhakti Yoga have made my appearance in this particular form known as Kapila to revive that. So, Esha Atmapato Avyakto Vyaktikari. So that Atmapata has become invisible. I appear to make it available to everyone. So in that way. Ghachakamam maya prushto mai sanyasta karmana jitva sudurjayam mrutyum amrutatva yamam bhaja. So he says that he is giving permission to his father Kardamamuni. Gachakamam maya prushto. So my dear father, please go as you desire. Gachakamam, as you desire, please go. Maya prushto mai sanyasta karmana. Have been told by me previously, when I appeared previously, same way, Mai Sanyasta Karmanam, offering all activities unto me. Please wander from forest to forest and Mam Bhaja, continue to worship me. Jitva Sudurjayam Mrutyum, and conquer over death, which is very difficult to conquer. And also Amrutatvaya, attain immortality. Taking on to renounced order, going on to forest, traveling from forest to forest while worshipping me continuously, may you conquer Mrityu and attain immortality. That means may you conquer Mrityu and go back home back to Godhead. Conquering Mrityu means there will be no more birth and no more death. This will be your last life. So in that way. So Lord is giving him permission and also giving him assurance that please go on to forest and travel from forest to forest, continuously worshipping me, by which conquer death and go back home back to Godhead. So by giving us instruction, Lord is also assuring him that you will attain moksha. So in that way, Mam Atmanam Swayam Jyoti Sarvabhuta Guhashayam Atmani Evatmana Viksha Vishoko Abhayam Arachati. So here he says that Mam Atmanam Swayam Jyotir Sarvabhuta Guhashayam. So having gone to forest, you will be able to see me being present in the heart of each and every living entity. Sarva Bhuta Guhashayam. Guhashayam means, Guha means in the cave, secret cave. What is that secret cave? The core of the heart. You will be able to see my presence in the heart of each and every living entity. Because Swayam Jyotir. I am self-manifesting Jyoti situated in the heart of each and every living entity as Paramatma. Only a person with spiritual vision can be able to see my presence in the heart of every living entity. See me in the heart of every living entity in the form of Paramatma. Atmani evatmana viksha. So he says that by your good intelligence, by your purified intelligence, you will be able to realize and see me in the heart of each and every living entity, by which you will never forget about me. You will be always remembered. You will always be seeing me. Even if you are continuously seeing me, you will always remember me. So in that way, Vishoko Abhayam Archasi. So by that transcendental vision of seeing me in the heart of every living entity, you will never experience any lamentation, and eventually you will attain fearlessness. Shelter at the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of God in the spiritual world. So it's like that. So don't worry about anything in this world. Just go to forest, travel, continuously worshipping me. In doing so, you will be able to see me in the heart of each and every living entity you may come across. In the forest, you might see the plants, you might see the trees, you might see the forest animals, ants, and insects, etc. Everywhere you will be able to see Paramatma. So then you will be constantly reminded of Paramatma. You will be always meditating on Paramatma, and there is no need to experience shoka. And by that, you will experience abhayam, fearlessness, and you can distribute that abhayam to other living entities too. Then he says that Matra adhyatmikim vidyam samanim sarva karmanam vitarishyeya chaso bhayam chati rishyati. So my dear father, do not worry about the well-being of my mother. Matra. So you might think that who will take care of your wife? Don't worry, I will take care of my mother. You don't have to worry about your mom, your wife. Just like having gone to forest, you will attain abhaya, fearlessness. I will help my mother to attain fearlessness. How? Matra adhyatmikim vidyam. By teaching her adhyatmika vidya, samanim sarva karmanam. She will be freed from all karmas that she had performed in her existence. Samanim sarva karmana means whatever karmas that she had performed, all those karmas might bore some reactions. But by practicing the adhyatmika vidya that I will teach her, she will be freed from all karmic reactions. Vitarishe yaya chasau bhayam chatirishati. She will overcome all the reactions of those karmas, and also she will also overcome all the fear that she was expressed to you, that she was thinking that who will give me abhaya, who will take care of me, who will protect me. All such fears will be taken away from her, and she will be freed from all the karmas, and she will also attain fearlessness. Just the way you attain fearlessness now by following my instructions and by following that adhyatmika vidya which I will teach her, she will also attain fearlessness. And we will understand what is adhyatmika vidya in the next chapter, chapter 25, maybe in the next class. So what exactly adhyatmika vidya meant according to Lord Kapila, that we will understand in the entire section of teachings of Lord Kapila starting from 26 to 33 is all about adhyatmika vidya. And the 33rd chapter will understand how following the instructions of Lord Kapila, Mother Devahuti attained perfection. So this is the last assurance that Lord Kapila is giving, that, my dear father, don't worry, you go to forest, do the needful as per your desire. You will attain fearlessness, and don't worry about my mother. I will teach her Adhyatmika Vidya, following which she will also attain fearlessness. Just by becoming my associates, both of you have already attained perfection. But in order to set a good example to this universe, this world, yad yad acharati shrestha, whatever the great people perform, the common people follow. So both of you should set a good example. So my dear father, you go and set example for the purpose of Satya. That orders I gave in the scriptures, that Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja. You establish, you set an example for that order. I will also teach Adhyatmika Yoga to my mother, following which she attained perfection. She sets an example that anyone in the future who follow the teachings of Lord Kapila, they will attain perfection, like Kardama and Devahuti. So it is like that. So Lord has spoken. Lord Kapila, who appeared as the son of Kardama, had spoken, gave permission, gave assurance that he will attain perfection and he will take care of his wife, that his own mother, Lord's mother. So now Kardama, with the permission of Kapila, going to the forest. Maitreya uvacha evam samudijastena kapilena prajapati dakshini krityatam prito vanam eva jagamaha. Evam sam uditastena kapilena prajapati. Having heard the beneficial instructions by Lord Kapila, Prajapati Kardama, now he is called as Prajapati because he has begotten children who will beget children in the due course of time, who will populate the entire universe. Dakshini Krutya, he performed parikrama, moving from Purva to Dakshina, like east to south, like in that clockwise direction. He made 3 or 5 or 7 pradakshinas around Lord Kapila. Tam Prito, being satisfied at heart, Vanam Eva Jagamaha, he went into the forest as per his desire, as per the instruction of Lord Vishnu previously. Now as per the instructions of Lord Kapila and as per his own desire, he went to the forest. Then having gone to forest, what did he do? Vratam sa astito maunam atmaika sharanam muni nissango vecharat chonim anagnir aniketana. So here these verses, we understand that what Kardama did in the forest. Same way we should also understand what a Vanaprastha and a Sannyasi is supposed to do. These are the general guidelines for a Vanaprastha or Sannyasi, what they are supposed to do, having taken those ashramas. So the instruction for those ashramas also we can understand from these few verses. Here it says that Vratam sta astito maunam. They are supposed to take Mauna Vrata. Kardamuni had accepted Mauna Vrata. And Atmaika Sharanam, he has taken exclusive shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he cannot take shelter here and there because he is completely dedicated to the service of Supreme Lord, completely dedicated to meditate on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Atmaika Sharanam. Atma Eka Sharanam. He has taken the lotus feet of Supreme Lord as one shelter. And then Muni. Muni refers to Kardama Muni. Nissango, without association of anyone. He has not taken association of any other living entity or anyone else. Vecharat Shonim. Alone, he traveled from forest to forest on the surface of the earth. Anagnir, without taking shelter of fire, without lighting fire. A Vanaprastha or Sannyasi are not supposed to light fire. Light fire either for the purpose of cooking or for the purpose of getting light or for the purpose of getting warmth. If it is cold season, they are supposed to tolerate. They should not light fire and get warmth from it. If it is darkness, they are not supposed to light lamp to get some light. They should stay in the darkness, and they are not supposed to light fire to cook food. This is the instruction for Vanaprastha or Sannyasi. So they are supposed to live on austerities, tolerating all the dualities of the material world, and they should live on by naturally available things. In the forest especially, when the fruits are fallen from the tree, they are not supposed to pluck the fruits from the tree even. Whatever is fallen from the tree, that should take. Even if the grains that are fallen in the paddy field, they can collect them and eat raw. They are not supposed to pluck from the trees. They are not supposed to cook the grains and eat. They are supposed to take everything raw. These are the severe austerities that are meant for Vanaprasthas and sannyasis. Aniketana, and they are not supposed to take shelter of any hut. They are not supposed to construct a hut also. They are supposed to live underneath a tree or in a gufa. Naturally available residence only they should live on. They are not supposed to make any artificial home. So in that way, these are the various instructions that are supposed to be followed by a renounced order, Vanaprastha Sannyasi, and Kardama Muni is sincerely following all of them. That Maunavrata and Atmaika Sharana and Nissanga, Vacharat Kshonim, continuously wandering from place to place, they should not stay at one place and without in the company of others. And Anagnir, no fire. Aniketana, no home, no mat, no ashram, etc. Mano Brahmani Yunjano Yattasad Satparam Gunava Bhase Viguna Eka Bhaktya Anubhavite. So Mano Brahmani Yunjano, his mind is constantly meditating upon the absolute truth, the Brahman, the supreme Brahman, the absolute truth. Yat tat sat asat param. So that absolute truth which is beyond auspiciousness and inauspiciousness. Sat asat param means the material dualities. From the point of view of material dualities, good and bad, cause and effect, and auspicious and inauspiciousness in this world. So that Brahman who is transcendental to this material world, he should constantly think about that supreme absolute truth, which has nothing to do with this material dualities. Yet sat asat param. That tat, that Brahman, the supreme absolute truth, sat asat param, which is superior to the dualities of this material world. Gunava bhase viguna. He does not possess any material qualities, but he possesses all spiritual qualities. That supreme absolute truth, that Brahman or that Tat, do not possess any material qualities. That is, Viguna indicates no Rajoguna, no Sattaguna, no Tamaguna, but he possesses all transcendental qualities, Sachidananda Swarupa. Eka Bhaktya Anubhavite. By performing one-pointed devotional service, one should constantly meditate upon that supreme absolute truth and able to experience that supreme absolute truth. Who possesses no material qualities but all spiritual qualities. They are supposed to meditate upon that. Eventually, by meditating upon that supreme absolute truth, eventually he experienced that spiritual qualities of that supreme absolute truth. Eka Bhaktya Anubhavite refers to he began to experience the spiritual qualities of that one Brahman, that one supreme absolute truth by his Eka Bhakti, one-pointed Bhakti, simple, single-pointed Bhakti. So this is how, in due course of time, having performed all the rules and regulations of renounced order, he could experience the spiritual qualities of that one supreme absolute truth. Nirahankritir nirmamascha nirdvandva samaduk saduk pratyak prashanta dhirdhira prashantor me rivodadi. So he says that Nirahankritir, he became freed of all ahankara. Nirahankriti, nir ahankara. He does not possess any more ahankara that I am a great sage, I am this, I am that, such kind of ahankara he does not have. Nirmama, he does not have anything to say, this is me, this is mine. He does not have any mamatva, any ahamta, any mamatva. Nirahankriti refers to any ahamta, nirmamata. He refers to nirmamata, no mamata. So he does not have anything to say that this is I, this. Even now he is alone, wandering in the forest, in the wilderness. He has nothing to say who he is and what belongs to him. He has no home, no nothing, etc. Nirdvanda, being unaffected by the dualities of this material world. Samadruk, who possessed equal vision, is able to see everything as the manifestation of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Swadruk, who had realized who he is, who really he is, and able to understand that he only had to meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is an Amsha of the Supreme Lord, and his only duty is to meditate on the supreme wonderful qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pratyek Prashanta Dhir Dhira. Eventually, he became Dhira. Because Dhir, his intelligence became Prashanta, peaceful. His mind, intelligence, Ahankara, Chetana, all the subtle bodies completely purified and pacified. Now the subtle body is not giving him any identity in relation to who he is, what all belongs to him in this material world. Now, no such kind of material identities. Sarvopadi vinurmukta tatparatvena nirmalam. Being purified all the ubadis in this material world, being pure at heart, tatparatvena nirmalam. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate. With his mind and intelligence and senses is simply executing the service of Supreme Lord by meditating upon Lord's Nama Rupa Guna Leela. Prashantormir Ivodadi. Now his heart is like a peaceful ocean without any waves. Prashanta Urmi. Urmi refers to waves. Where in the ocean, which is very peaceful without any terrible waves, like that he has become now. He became completely peaceful because all the identities are gone. His heart became completely purified. Man, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chaitanya, they are all became completely pacified, completely purified. Now he only has one identity and one duty. One identity himself as the devotee of the Supreme Lord. One duty is constant meditation on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Brahmani, that Supreme Absolute Truth. That's all, nothing else. So this is the transformation that took place in the Kardama's heart. Vasudeve Bhagavati Sarvagne Pratyagatmani Parena Bhakti Bhavena Labdatma Mukta Bandhana. So now what happened? Vasudeve Bhagavati Sarvagne Pratyagatmani. Parena Bhakti Bhavena. By executing Para Bhakti, the pure devotional service, when his heart is completely purified with Bhakti Bhava, he is able to perceive the presence of Vasudeva in the core of his heart as Pratyagatma refers to Paramatma. He is able to perceive the Supreme Personality of God, who is known as Vasudeva. He is situated in the core of his heart as Paramatma. And with that Bhakti Bhava, Mukta Bandhanat, he became completely freed of all the material bondage in this material world. And Labdatma, he realized who he is. Jivera Swarupai Krishnera Nityadas. Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Now, with the performance of that Parabhakti, the pure devotional service with the devotional sentiments, the devotional mood, his subtle body is completely purified, is bereft of all the other entities. He is able to realize who he is. Labdatma, he understood he is an Amsha of the Supreme Lord. At the same time, he is able to realize the presence of that Supreme Lord Vasudeva in his heart as Pratyagatma, as the Paramatma. So this is the state he has come to. He had realized who he is. He had also realized the presence of the Supreme Lord Vasudeva in the core of his heart as Pratyagatma or Paramatma. At the same time, he is freed from all the bandhanas of this material world. Atmanam sarva bhuteshu bhagavantam avasthitam apashya sarva bhutani bhagavati api chatmani. So with this realization of himself and Paramatma in the core of his own heart, now he is able to see the entire universe at one go. What is seeing that? Atmanam sarva bhuteshu Bhagavantam avasthitam. He is able to see the same Paramatma in the heart of each and every living entity. So in the previous it said that that Supreme Lord who is known as Vasudeva is perceived by him in the core of his own heart as his Paramatma, as his own Paramatma, and is able to see that Lord Vasudeva as Paramatma of each and every living entity of this world. Everywhere he is seeing that same Paramatma in this world. Atmanam Sarva Bhuteshu Bhagavantam Avasthitam. That he has seen the same Bhagavan is also situated in the heart of each and every living entity of this material world. And then Apashya Sarva Bhutanam Sarva Bhutani Bhagavanti Api Chatmani. And he is also seeing all the living entities are situated within the skin pore of the same Lord Vasudeva. So these two lines refers to Mahavishnu, because each and every universes are manifested from the skin pores of Lord Vishnu, Lord Mahavishnu, and he's saying unlimited living entities in unlimited universes, everything is situated in the various skin pores of Mahavishnu. So he's seeing simultaneously the minute form of Lord Vasudeva as Paramatma, and he's also seeing the mega form of Lord Vasudeva as Mahavishnu. In the first case, the Paramatma is situated in the core of the heart of each and every living entity. In the second case, each and every living entity is situated in the skin pores of Mahavishnu. He could realize, he could see everything at one go. He could understand in the length and breadth what the Supreme Lord is all about in one go. Everything he had understood about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Complete knowledge is revealed to him. Just like Mother Yashoda saw in the mouth of Lord Krishna, first the entire universe, unlimited universes, then one universe in that 14 planetary systems, in that so many planetary systems, in that Bhuloka, in that Bharatavarsha, Bharatakanda, Vrindavan, Mother Yashoda looking into the mouth of Lord Krishna. She saw herself being situated in one universe, and she also saw all the universes situated in the mouth of Lord Krishna. Similarly, the same thing also shown to Markandeya Rishi in Bhagavatam 12th canto. When Markandeya Rishi desired to see Maya, suddenly Pralaya came and he was swimming over across the Maya. There is a banyan tree. Underneath the banyan tree, there is a small boy. Vatapatra Shahi was playing, being situated in the banyan tree, banyan leaf. He was playing here and there, licking, sucking his toe. And Kardama came to see who is this boy. Surrounding everywhere is water, and the boy is there. No one is there to take care of him. When he came there, the boy opened mouth, and Markandeya Muni entered into the mouth of that small boy. In the mouth of that small boy, Markandeya Rishi saw unlimited universes. Then he entered into one universe. In that universe, he saw so many unlimited planetary systems, living in many places. Then huge rain came, and he himself saw that he was swimming across in the ocean. So something like that. The entire picture is shown to Kardama here at one go. Then what happened? That means he had understood who the Lord is completely. We generally hear about it, but here Kardama Muni practically experiencing it. So in that way, he is in the realization state. Ichcha dvesha vihinena sarvatra samachetasa bhagavad bhakti yuktena prapta bhagavati gati. So he says that Ichcha dvesha vihinena, without any material desire, without any material aversion, being freed of Ichcha dvesha vihinena. This is one of the important phrase in the Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter, I think 727 or something like that. Ichcha dvesha samuttena dvandva mohena bharata. Being influenced or being overcome by Ichcha and Dvesha, living entity comes under the supervision of Dvandva, the dualities of this material world. But when a person becomes freed of Ichcha and Dvesha, material desire and material aversion, then the person becomes qualified to go back to Godhead. Sarvatra samachetasa, and he has equal vision towards everywhere. He does not have special favoritism or aversion to anything in this material world, because he had Bhagavad Bhakti. Bhagavad Bhakti Yuktena, his heart is filled with pure devotional service. Prapta Bhagavati Padgati. Having understood who the Lord is, having understood what entire universe is all about. Now, with that realization, with that understanding, Prapta, he went back to, or he attained Bhagavati Gati. He attained the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Indirectly, he went back home, back to Godhead. He attained perfection. He went back to Godhead. So this is how the perfection of Kardama has been shown in chapter 24. And from chapter 25 to 32, we hear about Adhyatmika Vidya, that Lord Kapila promised to Kardama Muni that he will teach to Mother Devahuti. The teachings to Mother Devahuti will be explained from chapter 25 to 32. And in chapter 33, following though that Adhyatmika Vidya, Mother Devahuti also attains the same Bhagavati Gati that we will see in the upcoming weeks. And in this way, Lord Kapila is teaching the path back home, back to Godhead, and his two parents are establishing a wonderful example for us to give inspiration. By practicing the teachings of Lord Kapila, we also can go back home, back to Godhead. So, in a way, this is the purpose of third canto. The Supreme Lord had created this material universe to provide facility for fulfillment of the material desire of the Jiva. But Lord did not stop there. He wanted to bring back the conditioned souls back to spiritual abode. For that purpose, Lord is teaching us the various processes that can take us back home, back to Godhead, and also following those processes, how Kardama and Mother Devahuti attained perfection. The examples are also shown to us in this section of third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is my personal request and my special request, that I request all the devotees to kindly participate in our future classes. This is one of the important topics of the entire Bhagavatam, and this is the enhanced version of Bhagavad Gita, starting from chapter 25 to 33, which is the enhanced version of Bhagavad Gita. Whatever we have studied in Bhagavad Gita by hearing from His Grace Radha Gopinath Prabhu for so many years, so we will kind of reiterate those teachings of Bhagavad Gita in this section of Bhagavatam. So I request all the devotees to come regularly, and also the coordinators to invite other devotees also who are not able to come for our regular classes. So thank you very much. We'll stop here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for joining us. Happy to see you.
Yeah, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for a wonderful class, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandot Pranam.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभूजी.
हा,
दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभूजी आणि माताजी, तुम्हाला पण.
Oh, yeah.
ट्रेन मध्ये कसं वाटतं?
थँक्यू. अगदी मस्त मस्त वाटतं.
थँक्यू प्रभूजी फॉर द वंडरफुल लेक्चर ऑल्सो.
Hare Krishna.
त्यांना वीणा खूप आठवण येते.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी.
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण स्मिता. थँक्यू.